First off, rest in peace, neighborhood nip. I ain't crip, but I'm on that neighborhood shoot. Building business, it's that black owned. If you hustle, better hustle till your pack gone. If you work, better work till your back hurt. And if you rap, make it better than your last verse. Yeah, more lyrics. Stick and move, Javante Davis.
AJ, El Presidente, Eddie Kane University. Hill gon' heal, regardless. You, Buchanan, Bethel High School, by way of 3-Man Weave, LLC.
Michelle, producer, based over here.
You can catch this wave from the Marlins to the Mariners. Doing things you can't believe. It's the 3-Man Weave.
Why did we both do that? That was not playing. That was... Oh man, y'all know who it is. It's your favorite guys. 3-Man Weave. We are back. You know, this I'm not gonna say this is a permanent schedule change yet. Let's just stay tuned because obviously, you know what I'm saying, we missed a couple days. You know, the draft definitely, you know, was definitely weighing heavy on us. You know, media scout life, you know what I'm saying? But we are here on this Thursday before the Lakers play the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to get it in. Also, we are before the Dallas duo will be recapping the Dallas Cowboys draft right after this, bro. Just right like 9 o'clock. So stay tuned if you're going to hear on the 3-Man Weave YouTube channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Y'all know y'all can catch us on all major podcast platforms, 3-Man Weave. Instagram, Twitter, 3-Man Weave _. You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I'm Hill, and he'll go Hill regardless, as you can see.
And I'm AJ, and yeah, we are here. I forgot about the rules, so I'm not going to cuss right now, but we are here.
Like I said, give it some time, brother. At least get to 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to let some time elapse.
Man, we had a draft last week.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And it was exciting. Let's just say that. You know, the draft is one of those times of the year that I've always enjoyed the draft ever since, you know, a little kid. I used to watch it on Saturdays, not even knowing the players and just seeing the rhetoric around the players getting drafted and just him talking about it. Me having to leave to go out, run some errands with my pops and come back, it's still on, you know. So I've just been a draft, you know, junkie all my life. So when it comes to the draft again, like I say, it's definitely near and dear to my heart. And also we moving into this media scout realm and, you know, focusing on some of the players and actually having a board where we can say, man, that on our board, he went too high, or I had him graded as a round 3 pick. You know, it felt kind of good to say those things that, you know, we've heard other pundits get to say, but it felt good on, you know, texting at least or in a group, you know, just saying it on our own, but like, yeah, man, like they reached for this player and, you know, I had him lower. You know, it actually did feel good to actually know what we was talking about and for others to go back and forth with them, you know, with the research that they've done on players. And we had some great conversation when it came leading up to this draft.
Right.
I would say.
Yeah. And I believe for me, the draft is a nostalgic thing for me. I also, you know, I'm going to sound like a dinosaur here, but I'm from the era where it's just like, if you left during the draft, you had to come back home and just watch the ticker to get all your updates. Watch that thing go from round 1 all the way through 5 to see what happened, because we from that era where you didn't have your phone. You had to sit there. It's just like when you had to wait to see if your school was closed because of snow. You had to sit there and wait through all 197 picks to see, like, dang, who did we get? What happened? And so, you know,
I remember those days.
and us, it was like it was an entire weekend thing. Now they kind of switched it where it's, you know, they do round 1, you know, prime time to get, you know, the money and make the spectacle out of it. But for us, it was day 1 was what, Friday, day 2 was Saturday, and then day 3 was Sunday. And Sunday was the one. It was just from like noon all day, all the draft picks, and it was a dope thing. But we definitely for it to be quote unquote a weaker draft class, we still had some excitement, we still had some surprises, and I think we still saw some teams get better.
I think some of the wording has to be changed when it comes to how do we describe this draft when it comes to like weaker draft. And was it a weak draft per se? Maybe the top stars, those bona fides, that we think is going to be superstars, maybe didn't have a lot of those. But as we can see, some of the grades, and I do understand that the draft grading is just for content because there's no way to figure it out till it's time for contract time. But a lot of people got passing grades because a lot of people still got quality depth, or they got pieces, they fill some needs. So as we can get into it.
Absolutely. Where do you want to start?
Let's go to the stay positive. Let's go to the winners. Who you got? We got some winners, and stick with those.
So winners for me, I'm gonna try and not do like the typical winners.
Who are the typical winners other than Philly?
Exactly. So people have been really, really enjoying Philly's draft. Another typical winner people have been saying is the Steelers. People love the Steelers draft because they get their tackle, they get Joey Porter Jr., they get Darnell Washington, who fell, and I understand that. You got your guy at tackle that you wanted, you got a corner which was addressing a need, and he fell to you, and you have the lovely story of Joey Porter Jr. playing for the Steelers. And
it was a great story, bro. You tried to minimize it. I get it, divisional hate. But I do understand it, but I'm not gonna let you do that right there. That was a great story, bro. Like I say, seeing him cry, being pissed off, and then hearing the father mode kick in of Joey Porter. Like for what we know as outsiders of Joey Porter, he's an asshole. He's a tyrant. He's that dude. But like seeing him kick in and go to father mode, and as we are fathers, like we seen that moment, it did something to you, my brother. Don't try to deny it.
I changed the channel actually, so I didn't see it. Anyway,
I tried my best, y'all.
But yeah. So, I actually like what the Cardinals did.
Okay.
So I like what the Cardinals did because I don't think the Cardinals got better right now.
Mm-hmm.
But they did position themselves to make that leap and that transition to get better down the line with Jonathan Gannon. He's a new coach. You're still trying to see what Kyler's going to do. This is the perfect opportunity. Well, go ahead. What you saying?
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I understood where you was going, but did not have to interrupt. Kyler's going after this year, bro.
But that's my point. So this is the perfect opportunity. If Kyler comes back and he wants to play, that's fine. But to me, let Colt McCoy go ahead and just play all season. This is a beautiful opportunity to do a tank hard reset and try and end up at the very top of the draft and get your quarterback again. The Kyler experiment, it was okay. To me, like we all said, Cliff Kingsbury should have never been a head coach. And that proved to be so. So now here's the time to try and be like, you know what? We repented to the football overlords. We got rid of Cliff Kingsbury, and we're gonna try to do things, in a different way. And I think this is an opportunity for them to set themselves up with this extra draft capital to kickstart Jonathan Gannon, because this team is bad. And so so when you have a bad team, like I hate to say it, because I'm not for tanking, because you still got guys out there who are trying to play for their livelihood and are gonna get hurt when you're not even trying. But getting that, when you're a bad team, having as much draft capital as physically possible is the best way to try and kickstart things. And we all know if you hit on a quarterback, that can literally change the entire, course of your franchise. And to me, I think that by them doing that, it puts them in position to do so. And if they get 2 top 10 picks, that is a very good start. And we all look at drafts and be like, oh, next year's draft class is going to be really strong, or next year's draft class is really going to be weak. We don't know that until the college games are played and what happens and stuff.
Yeah.
But from just what we see, it truly looks like there's going to be some top heavy guys that come out of next year's draft, and you can be like, okay, we can get down with this. Like, I believe there's going to be some really good receivers. Everybody's got their eye on Marvin Harrison Jr., but there's going to be some other guys out there that can really up their draft stock with how they play next year or where they end up. Like a guy that I'm just going to say him right now, like my guy, Jared Verse, he came back to Florida State, and actually looking at this draft class this year, he should have came out because he probably would have been a first round draft pick because, people would have looked at him as a one hit wonder because, he was at, the University of Albany and then came to Florida State. But when he came to Florida State, he dominated. And then
I'm about to say actually a plus, actually the more of a benefit,
Right. And so, but now he came back to a team that has expectations. So if he comes back and does what he does again, he can easily be a top 10 pick. My guy, Michigan State, Keon Coleman, he's looking to transfer, but he was dominating some of the guys in the Big Ten that we saw get drafted early, and and like Devin Witherspoon and guys like even he had great games against Joey Porter Jr., stuff like that. So he gets somewhere and he can replicate or even go above and beyond what he did. That's another guy who could end up entering in the first round and another homer pick. But Johnny Wilson, bro, like a 6'7" receiver who was doing stuff that he was doing last year. He come back and he replicate that, and even more eyes are gonna be on him. Like, bro, it's gonna be some time. So you get a quarterback, a wide receiver, or edge rusher, or stuff like that. Dog, like it's an opportunity. I took a lot of time on the Cardinals, my bad, but like
as far as the Cardinals though, but I believe, and they're going to get more capital once they trade Kyler Murray. I think it would on the Kyler Murray part. I think he would be a fool to rush back, personally,
because the team is terrible.
The team is terrible, and you had a terrible season the last year. You need to be, it's 100% possible. Like you said, you need to put on positive film. You don't need to definitely lessen your value. And I believe that his value will be at an all-time high when it comes to next year, when it comes to moving on him. They just need to say all the right things. They need to do all the right things and just make it a seamless transition. Let's not make it nasty. We don't need a story. Let's make some football sense and let's just move them. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a team that's going to need a quarterback. Let's be honest. It's going to be a team that's not going to be in range to get one of these top quarterbacks.
Because someone is going to end up being like 8-9 or something like that, and I'm like, we just a quarterback away.
The Vikings.
The Vikings. There you go. We just a quarterback away.
Did I freeze or you freeze?
They're gonna give stuff like that. It's froze.
I'm good. You good?
I think that is me. I think.
Oh yeah, that was you. All right, be back though. Right. Who's your other winner though? Before we get to the comments.
So I initially killed them, and I was like, bro, what the hell are they doing?
I knew I should have went first. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. Say it.
Go ahead.
No, say it.
No. I was anticipating them being your loser, so I had my rebuttal already ready. But go ahead.
The Detroit Lions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
I can
as I
still say
look
my
at
rebuttal. So there you go.
like right, well, I might take your rebuttal here because Jahmyr Gibbs, I was like, bro, what the fuck are they doing? That is such a reach. And then you come back and get an off-ball linebacker and Jack Campbell. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And then they got Brian Branch and then they got Brian Branch. And I was like, okay. People had Brian Branch as a top 20 pick. So it's just like, well, shit, if you got Brian Branch, who could possibly have been a first rounder, if that was your first pick, and Jahmyr Gibbs was your second, and then Jack Campbell was your next pick after that, it was like, all right, you come out of that, people be like, damn, that was a good, first 3 picks with that draft capital. So it's like, it was ugly, but they got there.
I don't think it was ugly. Don't get it twisted. Thursday, the initial reaction that I had, I'm like, yo, what are they doing? I was one of them ones. I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. You could have got both of these players a little bit later, but furthermore, research and doing it, I'm hearing that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be a top 20 pick regardless. It was other teams. It was other teams that was looking to draft him. So when I say top 20, right? I did say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was going to be a top 20 pick regardless. So the simple fact that they went and got him, it doesn't look as a reach if you believe that rumor. Jack Campbell, he just looks like a lion, bro. Like, it is what it is. And the linebacker class, we can talk about this class. That's weak.
Yes.
So if you feel that he's the best, go get him. You know how I feel about team building. Like, if this is your guy, go get him. All that positional value stuff, it sounds cute. It sounds smart. I get it. They could have drafted a corner. They should have drafted a corner. I get it. I get it. But the corners that they do have that they got in free agency, going to get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, pairing him with Brian Branch now, your secondary looks a little bit better. They got this big boy, I forgot his name.
Project Martin.
They got him. They go with Hutchinson.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Like you said, you getting Jahmyr Gibbs. I think the best part of their draft was trading Swift. Like, we hear a lot of reports of,
because there was going to be like Jahmyr Gibbs is going to like do everything that you wanted DeAndre Swift to do plus, and then you brought in David Montgomery to be Jamal Williams. So you've got younger and possibly faster with less injury concerns.
And you got a dynamic playmaker. Like, Swift is cool. When Swift plays, Swift is cool. Last year, Jamal Williams, he led the league in touchdown. But Jamal Williams, nothing about Jamal Williams says anything about dynamic. Like, he
has
a nose for the end zone.
Bro, and not even a nose for the end zone. Yes, that is a skill, but it wasn't like he was taking, stuff 35 yards and getting into the end zone. It was just like, all right, DeAndre Swift, we on the 1 yard line. Put Jamal in and just get in there. And I'm short yardage is a skill, and I'm not downplaying it, but it wasn't like he did something amazing. He just, and to me,
that's my point.
And to me, when you come out of the first 3 rounds and you have 6 picks and you get the guys that we talked about in Gibbs, Campbell, and Branch, but you also get Sam Laporta, who's a really good move tight end. But then you take that flyer on Hendon Hooker, and say what you want about being high on Hendon Hooker, the offense that he came out of, his age and stuff like that. But you get him in the 3rd round when people are talking about him potentially being a top 10 pick.
You get him a year to get healthy. You get him a year to develop under Jared Goff, and Jared Goff has definitely been playing well since he got to Detroit. Nobody wants to give him any credit because he's Jared Goff, you know what I'm saying? But he's been playing very well in Detroit. So he may get a contract extension if he played cards right. But
100%.
They doing it right by letting him play it out because he's also Jared Goff. So he could
he could go back to
keep the pressure on it. Just keep the pressure on him, and so you can get the positive Jared Goff. Because like you said, he could revert back to the negative Jared Goff. But like I said, you keep the pressure on him, you can keep getting the positivity from him. I got a winner. These damn Seahawks, man.
That was amazing. that was an amazing draft. And remember, when we were doing our draft show, I was like, hey, they could go corner here. And you'd be like, nah, Jalen Carter on the board. I'm like, hey, bro.
Can I tell you why?
No. I 100% get you. Go ahead.
Okay, because I'm like, yo, your corners wasn't the issue last year. You had what's the fast dude?
Tariq Woolen.
Tariq Woolen. You had Kobe. Was Kobe Bryant, right?
Yeah.
That's his name. His name is Kobe Bryant, right? I'm about to say Kobe White, but yeah, Kobe Bryant. You drafted him. Like, he was balling. Now you about to move him to the slot, probably and potentially. That's gonna be crazy. And you got Devin Witherspoon, like I said, and he just fits he just fits what they want to do, and they can actually be more versatile now with their coverages. They're not just the old cover three, that they accustomed to.
They literally could go man and just be like, hey,
what's up?
Get after the quarterback.
Because you're not running away from Terry Woolen. Like, come on now. And they was trying now. Okay, let's go. Getting Zach Charbonnet, which was confusing at first until you realize this was the Seahawks.
And they gonna try and run the ball. And when Kenneth Walker got hurt and he got banged up, the offense took a little bit of a step back.
Absolutely.
And so it's just like now they can not miss a beat, because just like Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet can kind of do it all for you. So
he don't have that home run speed, but he definitely just can, do the dirty work.
Yeah, but he can run in between the tackles. He can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Move the chains.
He can move the chains. And when either one is on the field, it still doesn't show their hand. It doesn't put them in this position like, oh, they got Charbonnet on the field. This got a big chance of being a pass player, and he's gonna try and leak out or something like that. It's like, so now you still gotta play them straight up and respect them, and then that gets us to their other first round pick.
I was about to say, how did we even skip him?
Which is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Bro, to leave the first round with Devin Witherspoon and Jackson Smith and Jigba, like it's crazy.
That's highway robbery. To pair him with DK. To pair him with a Tyler Lockett, to pair him with players that have speed, that can take the top off.
So pretty much all the quote unquote, I hate saying that again, but all of the alleged speed concerns that he had coming into the league, it don't matter, because now he lit. So even if you had questions about him possibly being like, did you want to use that high of a pick for someone who you don't know if they can be an outside receiver? You can bring him in, and you like, if he's not an outside receiver, so what? But he can use all of his abilities and still make your offense that much better, because the same thing I said when we drafted Jamar Chase, our third guy is better than your third guy. So it don't really matter. What are you going, like, you literally can't do nothing. Like, pick your poison.
They've been searching like desperately for a third receiver for a while. Like, I'm not sure if they had a third receiver since their Super Bowl days, to be quite honest. And even that's a stretch. I'm gonna go later on though. Getting Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah.
And I understand that that's another running back. But far as him as being a running back, he's more so that receiving running back, that receiving threat, that weapon. So he could be utilized in the backfield. Like, you're going to be showing your hand if he's in the game, because, like you said, you're throwing the ball. But he's a weapon. The whip routes, the wheel routes, the screen game with him.
He can mess around and like be lined up in the slot, and you could put him in the backfield with Kenneth Walker, and then you still have not Charbonnet. You have JSN, Tyler Lockett, and DK on the field. And next thing you know, you move him to the slot, and you 4 wide. And it's just like, oh, we got problems.
The jet sweeps are power, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to be versatile. He might be helping out in the special teams game. Pretty sure that he'd probably be start on, get some kick return run, maybe some punt return run. But
it's a late round pick. Like,
it's a flyer. But we know that he has a special skill set that the other two running backs don't. So I'm saying, like, so he can have a role if they want to utilize him. And the fact that they probably hit on all their picks last year, like, how rare is that? Like, for a team that we had, that I had, I'm gonna just speak for myself, that I had the team being ass, that I didn't like their draft last year. For them to hit on all their picks, for them to make the playoffs. But it's different this year because last year they definitely still had a typical Seahawks season. They started off hot. Everybody like, oh man, look at the Seahawks. Then they tailed off. Reality started to hit, and then they backed their way up in the playoffs. Nobody cared last year because they had no expectations. It was a feel good story. Oh, Geno Smith. Oh yeah, good. But since their Super Bowl run, it's been the same typical Seahawks type of season. Start hot, tail off, make you find a way to get in the playoff, losing the playoff. And cool. Now we mad. Who fault is it? Let Russ cook, all that stuff. The fact that they didn't have expectations, it made it feel good. This year, they're going to have expectations. This year, they're going to be fighting for the division between the 49ers. 49ers don't have a quarterback.
Yeah.
So they can actually sneak some wins up. And
say what you want about, it don't matter who you plug in at quarterback. Yeah, it do.
It do. Obviously, it does.
It does.
Obviously, it does for the 49ers.
Right. And so, I just think that this can't be understated that what the Seahawks did in their draft last year, that's a championship caliber draft.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of those drafts where it's like that changes you from one of those teams that's always going to be in the middle of the pack where you could possibly be in that championship contention because you have all these players. They as much as we like Geno, I don't know if Geno is the quarterback that you want when you're competing for a championship, but where you're at and what you paid for Geno, you're not tied to him. So if something were to come up and, they still have some opportunities and a little bit of draft capital, if they get lucky, they could do something.
Absolutely. Let's go back. Let's go to the comment. Thought the Ravens had a solid draft overall. Love the Zay Flowers pick for Lamar. You pair Zay Flowers, which one of my favorite wide receivers in the draft. You pair him with an Odell, with whatever version of Odell you're going to get. You pair him with the Rashad Bateman. Hopefully that he's healthy. You have a good receiving core. Also, you have Mark Andrews. Like I said, Mark Andrews, one of them ones at the tight end position.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because we mentioned Mark Andrews, and I think that we're truly forgetting something. Do we remember how Isaiah Likely looked towards the end of last year?
Yeah, we did. I'm gonna tell you why we forget because Lamar wasn't there.
Right, but Isaiah Likely was looking like, oh, this could be a problem.
Also, I'm proving your point. I'm just saying, of course, we forgot because, Tyler Huntley.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So it's just like, yeah, they got Mark Andrews and they got, so people talk about, Odell's injury prone and this and that, but if Rashad Bateman's healthy, Rashad Bateman is that number one.
Absolutely.
If Zay Flowers can continue the production and what we think he will be, he and Odell could be 2A and 2B, not necessarily a 2 and a 3. You get what I'm saying? And it's just depending on the day. And then you got Mark Andrews working over the middle, and then you got Isaiah Likely who can stretch the seam and still work over the middle as well. And let's not forget, when you have Lamar Jackson at quarterback, your running game is going to be a threat regardless because he's a 1,000-yard rusher, and J.K. Dobbins is a year removed from his ACL injury now. Mm-hmm. And usually, with certain positions, okay, you can get back within a year. But that year after is when you start to be like, I'm myself again.
They do have questions, and once we get further on into the offseason, we're going to ask those questions and possibly have some answers to those questions. But we're specifically talking about the draft. Them getting Trenton Sampson.
Patrick Queen replacement. Literally.
I think for me, though, I think it's more so, yes, of course, because they didn't pick up his option. But I think he's a versatile type of linebacker. He's just not your typical off-ball linebacker.
Patrick Queen.
So they can find a role for him. They can find something to do. It's the Ravens. Come on, bro. They do have organizational benefit of the doubt when it comes to drafting these players.
Yep.
So when it comes to and they just signed Rocky Sin.
Mm-hmm.
So the Ravens did what the Ravens are, what they do. We always come through a draft and we sit there and be like, the Ravens are winners. Like, what did they do? They that's what the Ravens do, bro. When it comes to as far as the draft, like they're one of them teams that are a very well-rounded team when it comes to drafting. Cowboys draft was definitely underrated. It's underrated to people that they had opportunities to get, like, let's say, some stars or some notable names that they missed out on. But they filled some needs. They filled every need. They addressed every need when it comes to the draft. And I think the Cowboys, funny thing, I think it wasn't a custom of actually doing something positive in free agency. It kind of altered how they drafted.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with the draft. We're definitely going to do a draft recap on Dallas Duo. But for me, of course, there's been some moves that I would have made differently. But I can say that every year. Everybody can say that every year about their team. But I'm feeling positive about my draft, about my team's draft. So I definitely agree with you when it comes to the underrated, because I don't think it's getting the respect that it deserves. But I'm loving the low keyness of the value that it's receiving. Go ahead.
I was gonna switch teams. You ready for that?
This team?
Huh?
You ready for this team?
No.
Can we be quick?
Go ahead.
Who was the first round pick that they got? I can't remember.
Skarovski.
I like that. They needed anybody on the offensive line.
Yeah, right.
So wherever he plays, I believe that he's going to be significant. So I do believe that them getting Will Levis, and the fact that Will Levis doesn't have to play year one, is such a benefit. Of course, look, I wasn't sold on Will Levis. It's most of the time when I'm not sold on a player, I'm also not sold on the player because I think they're immediately going to play. So the fact that this regime did draft him and they know they're going to slow play him, I believe that's going to be a positive effect because the talent, he does have talent. He's not ass. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't believe in him being a high pick and immediately playing. But sitting behind a Ryan Tannehill, who, he's good enough to learn behind. Is just what I'm going to say. So I believe them they handled their business by doing that. They definitely started on the trajectory of getting this thing back in order. That's all I can say positive about it.
Okay.
Go ahead to the next team.
Okay. Because you mentioned when you were talking, what were we talking about before? You were talking about the Cowboys. You said they had a really underrated draft.
Mm-hmm.
You know who had a really underrated draft, in my opinion, because of just kind of like, I call draft picks lottery picks, right? Mm-hmm. It's like not lottery picks, but lottery tickets.
Yeah.
You increase your chances of winning the more you play. And I want to give, like, they're a team that's rebuilding, but they have tons of picks. They weren't super premium position picks, but they had plenty of lottery tickets. And it being in the rebuilding phase, they did what they had to do to acquire as many lottery tickets as possible. And they maximized that with a lot of players that I actually like. And it's Mr. Fuck them picks himself, Les Snead. I like the Rams draft class, yo.
Yeah, I did too, because they got my guy Steve Avila.
Yeah.
So that pissed me off from the jump. But then a lot of their moves was just, of course, they wasn't sexy moves, but they didn't need to make any sexy moves. They needed to make competent, get some players in here moves.
Get young, cheap players into like that could really do something. And to me, they did it. To me, out of their first 5 picks, I'm like, damn, I kind of like these dudes. I liked Kobe Turner. I was hoping like that's a good, interior presence that we put him next to DJ Reader. I think he could do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they got Steve Avila. They need offensive line help.
Absolutely.
And they got someone who people thought was like a second, third round pick. And the only knock on him was his height was Travius Hodges-Tomlinson.
Mm-hmm.
They got him in the 6th round.
Yeah.
And they had no issues getting small corners in the past because they had LaMarcus Joyner out of Florida State before. They had what was his name? Demarius Randall.
Mm-hmm.
They've had him. and you put Travius Hodges-Thomas. Hey, look, bro. Corner is one of the positions. It's like, hey, bro, if you small, but you got that Napoleon complex, you could make it.
How about say, you know how I feel about short people. I relate to him. So.
And so I'm like, damn, like, he can make it. And when we were talking about late round flyers, just you and I personally, one time, I mentioned I like Puka Nacua, the wide receiver out of BYU.
Yeah,
they got him in the 5th round. I'm like, hey, damn, they might have did something.
They did some. And speaking of people with teams with low minimal draft capital, I think the Browns did something too, bro.
Yeah,
getting the DT from Baylor. You pay
Siaki, Siaki or whatever.
Yeah, you pay him from Dalvin Tomlinson that you got in free agency,
and that's a need. They needed it.
Yeah, you go get Cedric Tillman.
Bro, I was hoping. I was like, you know what? If the Bengals aren't going to keep T. Higgins and we don't know it, go get Cedric Tillman, dog. I like him. I like what he can do.
And before we move on, because we've been on the winners way too long. The Giants, man. The Giants.
Yeah.
They definitely, like you said, you go and get Deontay Banks. They needed a corner. You go get one of the top corners in the first round. You get John Michael Smith,
who could probably start right away.
Who could start immediately at center or guard, whichever one you need. Go and get Jalen Hyatt in the 3rd. Somebody that they needed weapons. They got a whole bunch of short receivers other than Slayton, but he's a competent receiver. He's a deep threat, and like you say, Daniel Jones definitely, when he has somebody to throw it deep, he can throw it deep. So he definitely showed in his pro day that he can definitely run more routes than just the 9 route. But I mean, he definitely has questions. Can he handle press? And can he handle press in the NFL? That's going to be it's going to be questioned. I mean, he'll have a chance to answer it.
Right, and even if he can't right away, I'm one of those people. I'm sold on Brian Daboll, yo. So if Jalen Hyatt proves he can't handle press, I'm sold that Brian Daboll will be like, okay, well, we just go move him around so you can't press him.
It just makes sense, right?
Right.
It just makes sense, right?
And I believe what Brian Daboll will do, he'll just identify, move him in the slot, let him run, deep 9 routes, like, skinny posts and all that stuff up the seam. And he'd be like, all right, cool. Isaiah Hodgins, move on to the outside, bro.
Yep. And like you said, they got Paris Campbell.
They
brought back
a flyer on him.
They took a flyer on him. They brought back Darius Slayton. So now, I mean, also they got Darren Waller in the trade. So the room is
you could mess around and just be like, hey, Darren Waller, you are ex-dog, play on the outside.
Like the room is definitely made a complete 180 from it was last year. So we definitely going to see the real Daniel Jones this season because he actually has valuable weapons. You don't have to complain about him not having weapons. And you have a competent coach calling plays for you. Like you say,
right.
You're going to see the real giant. And like I say, bare minimum, they're going to have the same exact season that they had last year. But they're definitely going to make some noise in the division. They got better.
Bro, we're not saying that can you put that comment up? We're not saying that they got a top tier wide receiver room, but their wide receiver room got better.
Better than what they had last year.
It was like I said,
they had you out there last year.
If you add Darren Waller into that wide receiver room and not look at him as a tight end, that wide receiver room is solid. Like
weapons.
You can work with that.
Adding Darren Waller alone, injury history even with his injury history, it raised their floor immediately.
And to me, having Darren Waller and then adding Jalen Hyatt, when you have a mobile quarterback, that also is going to add into it because now the RPO game makes it so much tougher for you to mix up coverages and confuse Daniel Jones. And the best way to do that is like, hey, look, we got Darren Waller and we got Jalen Hyatt. And then we got Slayton and these slot dudes. Hey, you guys run short, you guys run deep. If I do this RPO and the linebackers come up, I'm going deep. if they stay back and the safety stay back, I'm either gonna hand it off to Saquon or I'm gonna throw it short. One of the two. Like it makes it easier on Daniel Jones. And just like we said with Jalen Hurts, shit, when you see you got somewhat of a potential and he's on their last leg, don't make him do more with less.
Yeah.
Give him more so he can do less with more. It only makes sense.
Who's your losers? Do you want me to go first, or how many losers do you have? I don't really got many.
I don't have many either. You can go first.
I'm glad he's here though. You know what I'm saying? It's the 49ers, bro. Like, bro, I don't give a damn what happened. If he the best kicker, if he turns in to be Justin Tucker, I don't give a damn. I'm not taking no kicker in the third round. Yeah. Like I said, me personally, my draft philosophy, I'm not even entertaining the kicker till the fifth. That's me. Like I said, but your first pick, like I said, when it came time, we've been waiting for the 49ers to draft, and your first pick is a damn kicker? Nah, we're not going out. You lose automatically off that alone.
Yeah.
Now, them getting the tight end, backing up, Kittle, cool. He probably go to tight end, learn some tricks in the trade. That's cool. I ain't mad at that. It's a good little depth piece. You know what I'm saying? But it was other people on the board that they could have had, and I'm just looking at it. It's like the only exciting pick that they had for me is getting D Winters, and that's in the 6th round.
Yeah. And even with D Winters, it's like, are we sure?
I said that was the best pick for me.
Yeah,
That's in the 6th round, and he's not even gonna play. Like, you could be a special teams, special teams player.
Yeah, D Winter comes into camp fighting for a roster spot.
They got Braden Willis too, a versatile tight end, H-back, fullback type. And I'm pretty sure that when Cal gets him into camp, he's going to have some things to do with him, and he can add him. He's a weapon. So it's not as bad as I'm making it because, once again, I'm on the outside looking in. They addressed some needs. They did get a corner. They got some more linebackers. They got some more, other versatile pieces. But starting out your first official pick of the draft weekend is a kicker. And you needed a kicker. You let Robbie go. I get it. So you go get the best kicker. I understand the logic. It's just I don't have to agree with the logic. That's my loser. Yo, go, brother.
So that was one of my losers because taking a kicker in the 3rd round.
I'm glad I got you back.
when you're not, say what you want about the 49ers, you're not a perfect team. They could have easily gotten a kicker. Like, to me, once you get to the 5th, 6th round, cool. Do what you want. Even if you have an early pick and you trade back and acquire an extra, 6th rounder or something like that, just to take it, kind of like what we did to get Brad Roberts, the punter. We absolutely needed a punter. Mm-hmm. So we were like, all right, cool, we'll trade back. We ended up getting the guy we wanted anyway in Jordan Battle. And we just acquired that 6th round pick to get, Brad Robbins. The 49ers, bro, you could have done so much with that pick. You could have done a lot with that pick. Because the way we've seen guys fall in this draft, and I'm not necessarily saying, hey, fallers could have been the guys who come in and be like, hey, just because people, evaluated them as a 1st round talent. But to me, Jake Moody could, like, if a kicker is the highest person on your board,
we need a new board.
You need a new board.
We need a new board.
I'm sorry. Like, say what you want about positional value, and I know you hate it. I'm not drafting a kicker in the 3rd round, dog.
What did I just say, bro? As much as I hate positional value, I just said I'm not entertaining the kicker to the 5th.
No,
and I'm being generous when I say the 5th, bro. Like,
yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned this, Reef. We need a CB help, bro. It was plenty of guys in the 3rd round that you could have entertained at that position. It's plenty of guys at some of the positions that you drafted after that are better than who y'all drafted, where you could have been like, you know what? Cool.
I mean, they got Darrell Luther from South Alabama. They got him
I
in
don't
round.
care. I don't care. I don't
They got
care. I don't
they
care.
they got him in round 5. You know,
Yeah, no.
I like it's losing. I'm losing it. They picked up a corner in free agency that's going to be amazing for them. They got him from Atlanta. I believe it's Isaiah. Tell me, Reef. You know,
Isaiah
comment.
Hodges.
I no Oliver. I believe
Oh,
Isaiah
Isaiah
something.
Oliver. Isaiah Oliver
So
out of
now he's
Colorado.
going to be amazing for them. Like you said, we know they did a free agency. We know the team that they have, the roster that they had. Like you did state, it's a great roster. Still has some flaws in the roster, but it is a great roster, and they're still going to be one of them ones when it comes to contenders in the NFC. But they had an opportunity, you know, like prime example, like say the Eagles. We've been hesitating on giving the Eagles any praise because everybody else been giving the Eagles praise, but they saw an opportunity to go get players, you know, to still go get great players, even if
Right.
a lot of those players may not even play initially or immediately. They still went and got them. You know, this was an opportunity for the 49ers to still go get players to still upgrade the positions or to get immediate impact for positions that they can still utilize. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, but
100%.
like what Sean said earlier, like say Cowboys had an underrated draft. Let's say you may not like for us to go get a Mozzie Smith immediately, but he immediately steps in and helps us. You know what I'm saying?
And as a
That's
contributor.
immediately. Like I said, we go get a tight end. It's things like that. It's like, okay, yeah, we got a good roster. The Cowboys always got an amazing roster. Cool, we got a good roster. We did things to help immediately help this roster.
Right.
And we just said I think they had the opportunity. I think they outsmarted themselves. I think the 49ers outsmarted themselves this time.
100%. And for me, it's like I said, I just can't get over a kicker being your first round pick. That's something that it just doesn't sit right with me, you know? And it happens. It happens.
Who
No,
your
it doesn't happen. My other loser is the Miami Dolphins. And
why?
so I like Cam Smith. I like Devin H.A.
Yeah.
But I like him. But all that for tampering with Tom Brady, like I have to make you a loser because now once again you only have 4 lottery tickets in this, and also you have these 4 lottery tickets, and you have Tua's injury history, but you have a roster that outside of if Tua stays healthy, you can be a legit contender in the East.
Hmm?
And maybe even beyond that, if things go out like that pickup of Jalen Ramsey. Say what you want about Jalen Ramsey, but him being in tandem and actually allowing him to be a number 2 corner with some of the other guys that you got, that's crazy. Picking up Devin A-Chain, and then you got Logic being your head coach and how he's been scheming up stuff with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle over there. I'm like, you got a shot. And to me, once again, not taking a flyer on a quarterback to me is like, I'm not sure, because yes, you are unsure about Tua, and they've given him the vote of confidence, his health and stuff like that. But it's like boxing. Hey, the moment you start thinking about retirement, you retired to me, dog. And this is no fault to Tua because it's terrible injury luck. But at least go somewhere like with a little bit of like, okay, maybe we get upside. Or you got Mike White, and Mike White, oh shit, shoot.
Yeah, everybody said, what you like though?
Mike White can come in and he can. We've seen him win a couple games, but to me, at least go with somebody where it's just like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what we can do with one of these younger guys and see if we can hit, with like an Aiden O'Connell or somebody like that who can come in and just do what we need from from Logic as a head coach and just get it to the open guy.
So all right. So you mentioned Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell went in the 4th round, I believe. Right.
Right. Right.
Okay. No, they only had 4 draft picks because, like you said, they had tampering, and then they traded some picks for Jalen Ramsey. So they had a 2nd round pick, which was Cam Smith, and a 3rd round pick was Devin Achane. So you rather for them to draft Kevin O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell, and the 3rd round pick instead of Devin Achane?
No, what I'm saying is when you have
the reason I asked you that because after that they didn't have a pick to the 6th round.
I know I 100% get that, but that takes me back to my lottery pick conversation where it's like, yes, you draft Cam Smith, and Cam Smith can be one of those kind of like roster building plan for the future kind of moves, but also when you only have 4 picks, and then you're kind of like picking somebody just like, hey, he can't like. He might see the field, but is he going to be one of those players where you can be like, hey, we taking a chance on someone who could possibly be an instant contributor? He's automatically number 3 on that list. He may not be number 3 on that list in 2 years, but right now he is. So to me, it's like pick 51. Can you come back a little bit and get another, 5th, 6th rounder, whatever the case may be, and just try and get something? And I'm not necessarily I know Aiden O'Connell went in the 4th, but I'm just saying like maybe if you kind of move back, it puts yourself in a position where you can have an extra lottery ticket. Once again, like I said, with the Rams, they have 14 picks. They didn't have a 1st round pick, but they got some guys who can be instant contributors. To me, in this, like you have 4 picks on a team that can, compete now, but you're not a perfect roster. And to go with Cam Smith, it's like you traded away, some of these lottery tickets, like you traded away a lottery ticket for Jalen Ramsey, and then you went back to the corner well. And it's like, I understand it, but does this Cam Smith pick make you a better team right now?
It makes you a better team defensively, yeah. I believe so. You need 3 quarters. I mean, a lot of teams play nickel. And like you said, what we do know about Jalen Ramsey, he's that matchup corner. Like he will match up with a wide receiver anywhere. So he'll go in the slot and match up with your number 1 wide receiver or whatever you could do. That gives you the opportunity to put Cam Smith on the outside where he belongs, and you still have Xavier Howard. So you go get him. I don't have an issue with that. You go get it. I don't know who the hell that is, but we could go with Devin Achane. Like you said, your running backs have been ass.
I get that.
So you get somebody that's a speed that fits your mold and could be a possible upgrade. I'm not mad at these 2 picks. And like you say, 6 and 7, yeah. When they got to that part of the draft, the quarterbacks that we deemed okay, they were gone. So I get your logic on, yes, they could have traded back and could have done some things, acquired a different pick and done some things. And like I say, also tampering. Also, the reason why you were tampering, the reason why you lost the pick. So that's why you're a loser. So I'm not going to defend that aspect of your losing category. I was just talking about on the picks that they had.
Right.
I like the picks.
Yeah, and that's why I let it off with tampering, because to me,
that's why I stopped though. That's why I stopped. I wanted to make sure I was only critiquing the draft pick aspect of it. That's the only reason I said. But they definitely lose for tampering. Y'all had no business doing this, dude.
You didn't have any business doing that, because also if you didn't tamper, if you like Cam Smith, you could have gotten a corner in the 1st if you still felt like, you know what, we want to add a corner to this. Mm-hmm. And if they would have taken Devin Achane in the 2nd, no one would have batted an eye. But then you still had other running backs over there because, like you said, your running back was ass. You could have got Zach Charbonnet. You could have got stuff like that. Or even, to me, we like out of like Elijah Higgins in the 6th round, mm-hmm. It's like, if you just want to get fast, get Keaton Mitchell. I like Devin Achane a lot, but it's just like, to me, if you would have just been like Tom Brady, like you would have had, like, it's the same thing I said with Aaron Rodgers. You doing all this for Tom Brady, how long are you even gonna have him?
They losers too. I ain't even. We running out of time.
All right, go ahead. We got some NBA stuff to do. Let's go ahead and run through this.
They some damn losers just off the strength.
And they couldn't have, like I said, they couldn't have signed Lamar for what? But never mind.
Anyway,
congrats to Lamar.
Grizzlies have informed Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstances. Now, we laughed at this. This is hilarious.
I'm still laughing.
Still laughing, even if it may not be true, because his agent refuted this, and maybe he may put Shams into question. His credibility. He's maybe added a little bit of sauce to the media because Dillon Brooks is a villain, and most of the time I like these type of players, these gritty, these fiery players, these ones that talk trash. But when you cross the line when it comes to playing dirty, that's when I got to scratch you off my list. I'm cool with all that, getting physical, rah, all that. Once you get to the cross the line when you become a dirty player, I can't rock with you at all under any circumstances. So that's when it comes to the fact. But we seen Steven Jackson, he defended. We seen JJ Redick. The players have defended the rhetoric or the wording of any circumstances of how the media is portraying that Dillon Brooks, the portrayal of Dillon Brooks. My thing about it, I get it. I understand players. Defend your players. Y'all got this a union. This it's a fraternity. Y'all got to defend. Y'all got to defend y'all guys. And I get it. I'm not saying y'all wrong. I actually applaud y'all for defending y'all guys.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, Dillon Brooks got to look in the mirror. Dillon Brooks did this. Dillon Brooks wanted to be a villain. Dillon Brooks wanted to talk trash. Dillon Brooks wanted to wear these flashy outfits and bring attention to himself. Dillon Brooks did all of this to himself. So the sympathy that you think you about to get from me, I can't get at. I can't get at up. Like I say, all the jokes that came with under any circumstances was warranted.
And so hold on. So I'm gonna get to Rakia comment in a second.
Okay.
But to me, he brought this upon himself.
Absolutely.
Bro, you not one of them.
No.
And even if you not one of them, but you like a trash talker and stuff like that, how integral were you in winning? But how big of a part were you in this? Like, and to me, when you do all of this talking and you put all this spotlight on you, you become more trouble than you are worth. And to me, with everything that's going on with the Memphis Grizzlies, you become like you're out here, a part of this culture where it's just like the Grizzlies are immature because of the talking that you're doing and you ain't proved nothing yet. This talking that you're doing and you putting the spotlight on yourself, the talking that you're doing in the playoffs and going at a player who has done exponentially more in their career than you. And I'm not even talking about LeBron yet. Then you go talking about a player in LeBron who is potentially the greatest player that we've ever seen pick up a basketball. And then you talk about you don't respect him until someone dropped 40 on you. But you skipping out on post-game interviews when you lose.
That's what I can't respect. I think that's what I already had like 5% respect left. And that's what I'm saying. Like, first off, you was big and bold when I don't respect them when they drop till you drop 40. You was big and bold then, but now all of a sudden you ducking the media numerous times.
So
can't throw rocks and hide your hand, bro.
So I remember there was a post, and I didn't like because I try to hate like I don't know I don't like always bringing it back to my team, but it kind of makes sense here. I saw a post that was like Dillon Brooks ain't nothing but NBA Eli Apple. But I was like, hey, Eli Apple always responds. Even if Eli Apple get cooked, he responds. And he always is going to continue to talk. That's just something that he did. And to me, it's just like, hey, even as much as I don't like Pat Beverly, guess what? He's still gonna be present, because to me, that's what people talk about. Oh, they don't like this new era generation, because it's like, hey, bro, talk it. I have no issue with you talking, but you better be able to respond when shit don't go your way. All of the greatest shit talkers, no one goes unscathed. Jalen Ramsey used to talk, and guess what? He's gotten beat sometimes, but he came right back and answered it. He was he stood in front of the camera, took his lumps, but then he came back and did what he got to do. Ocho Cinco, he had a list of everybody, hey, I'm gonna cook him. He get shut down. Guess what? I'm right back at it, bro. Don't like Cannon said, don't throw rocks and hide your hand, bro. Cannon say it too.
Oh yeah,
right. And where's her? Where's
he not here, so I'm taking all the credit.
They don't. I think they being hard on him because nobody does this to Draymond, and he legit be stepping on niggas. But at one point, Draymond was worth all of the trouble. Draymond was worth the trouble, because Draymond was say what you want. Draymond's an integral part of the Warriors winning, especially that first iteration of that dynasty. Say what you want say what you want about his quadruple singles, but he allowed them to play small. He allowed them to be able to run the offense that they did, and let Steph Curry and Klay Thompson run 3 miles a game without the ball, and him be the facilitator with the ball, and his basketball IQ and all of that stuff. He allows them to do all those things. And even even with last year in their championship run, Draymond wasn't great, but then when we got to the finals, it's oh shit, Draymond kind of kicking up a little bit.
Now, he was still trash, but he had that one game.
But that's what I'm saying.
But remember, you gonna get this podcast,
right?
And that's why I ain't gonna cut you off. But that's my point. He don't hide away from. But he played bad. He talked to the media.
He takes his accountability, and all I'm saying is
when he stepped on Sabonis, he was still on the front line talking. They had he had a press conference, post game interview. He did a podcast about it. Like I said, I'm not using the podcast as his way of talking, but he don't shy away from the media. It's accountability. Like you said, you don't throw rocks. If Draymond throwing rocks, he's standing right there.
And even in that case, what that front office sees in him shows you that, hey, the problems that he causes, he's still worth it.
I don't believe that anymore, but
no, right now, because he's up for a new contract. So I don't think at this age, but just these last 2 seasons wasn't the only time where he was causing an issue.
Yeah.
So I'm so in that franchise's eyes, I believe they'd be like, hey, shit, we still need Draymond, bro.
But
and that's why I don't mind, even if that under any circumstances is false, and that actually wasn't said, kind of true, because he ain't coming back.
I mean, but if he's not coming back to Memphis, it is what it is. But it goes to the fact that we got to think about I understand Steven Jackson, I understand JJ Redick, I understand other players, defending or coming back, refuting that wording, because it gives a negative connotation when it comes to free agency for his livelihood. I believe he's going to be on somebody's team next year, because he's not ass. Like you said, he played ass in the playoffs, but
it's some dudes. It's some dudes in the league that's way worse.
Right. Like you said, and I knew you were saying, was he an integral part of the team? And he can be.
He can be, but it's just I mean, I don't believe he's a. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
I don't believe he is a part of the long-term championship core. They feel like he's not an integral part of. Is he a part of the core that we need to win to become a championship contender?
But the funny thing about it, they're going to have to replace his skill set.
Right.
They talking all that under any circumstances crap all they want. they're going to have who's the other defender? Who's the other on-ball defender that they have?
So my thing is, I believe that they can replace him though.
Okay. It's really not that many 3-and-D players in the league.
I get that.
Okay. Finding the defender because he is a good defender. You know what I'm saying? He could be one of those ones that we view as one of those ones that when it comes to the defense, it's when you cross the line to the dirtiness, is when we don't want to give you that credit that you have on the defensive end. Well, okay, cool. No, that's cool. That's cool, Memphis. Under any circumstances, that's fine. I get it because you have to clean up your culture. I'm not mad at y'all doing that because, of course, you can't get rid of Ja.
But it's
you know what I'm saying?
And that's another reason. Like I told you all personally, I believe this was like, even if that under any circumstances was not true, I believe that under any circumstances was a message to Ja.
That's fine.
Because once again, like I said, yes, Ja, you are our best player right now. But if you keep fucking up and you become more trouble than you are worth, because if we got to suspend, bro, how many teams' best players get suspended because of their behavior?
Absolutely. You got to be wilder.
You get what I'm saying? So if our best player is getting suspended because of their behavior, and you become more, yeah, and that's another thing. But if our best player is getting suspended because of their behavior, that's a problem. And another thing that's dangerous is, especially during the regular season, they got a pretty damn good record without Ja.
Yeah. But once again, I always fight back on that one because superstars win series.
Right. But I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, do we need to move on from you and try and get somebody else in here who at least we ain't got to worry about them being somewhere pulling out guns on Instagram and making our culture look bad. Bro, we grown ass men and we can't even stay
in the city. We
can't even stay on the road overnight. We got to pack everybody up and go back home.
But that's not don't forget, Desmond Bain was talking trash too, though. Desmond Bain said, "Oh, we going 7." After they won the game, one of them games that one of them games that the player. But it's going back to Memphis. It's going 7, and of course it didn't. It blew their ass out. But it's the fact that the culture is out of hand right now. But if somebody got to take an L,
and at least Desmond Bain saying, "Hey, we going 7."
That ain't that bad.
That ain't that bad because what he supposed to say? Hey, we gonna lose the night? No, like, okay, yeah, you going 7. I kind of want you to say that, but
if somebody got to take the L, it was Dillon Brooks.
It was 100%.
And on top of that, the other report is they offered him multiple extensions and he turned them down. So
when keeping it real goes wrong.
Now let's get to this, bro. Milwaukee Bucks fired coach Mike Budenholzer. And I said it in the group right after, like I think I said, in my rant, I we might go record in a while. Let me get some takes off. And I said the Bucks, please don't overreact. And what they do?
They
overreact.
They fired Mike Budenholzer.
And what I meant by overreacting was what I meant by overreacting was, okay, last year everybody said, well, oh man, y'all might would have beat the Celtics or if y'all would have had Chris Middleton, right? Is that what we kept hearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you lose this series. How many games did Giannis miss? Missed 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You missed 2 and you let the team get hot. A team that had no business being the A seed. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they weren't your normal, like on both sides of the bracket. Your A seed is not your normal A seed.
This is not your typical A seed. So you end up getting your best player hurt, your MVP candidate hurt. Get him hurt and you lose. You let them get momentum and get confidence. Like once again, they already believe. Get me in the dance and cut the music on. They believe it. They was bumping that Cannon motto the moment they got in the play-in.
100%.
So it's like, okay, let's just tweak something. all you got to do is just tweak something. Like I say, sometimes winning, you need luck on your side, and sometimes losing, you don't have, like you said, you just on the losing end of the stick. It doesn't mean that you had to overreact. I definitely don't agree with firing him because I don't believe that they're really going to find an upgrade. Like he won coach of the year. Like she's a champion. Like he was one of them upper echelon coaches. Okay, Emi Udoka already got a job.
I was about to say that. You waited a little bit too late, though.
So it's like, okay, what are you really going to do? Okay, yeah, the regular season record may be good. You may be the number 1 seed again, or be one of them upper echelon seeded teams again. But it's not going to mean anything if y'all fail in the playoffs again. Yes, Giannis, I said fail in the playoffs.
This move actually messed up Giannis's whole statement because, hey, bro, if it ain't a failure, your coach ain't gonna get fired. Y'all gonna just y'all gonna retool and try and come back. If your coach get fired, that means somebody got to be held accountable for the failure. So,
I mean, Nick Nurse is available. So, is he an upgrade? No, he may be.
He also got fired for a reason, but
he may. I mean, but we've seen what he's done, what his system has done with the superstar. So, like I said, he could possibly be. I mean, it's a lateral move, of course. So that's a lateral move. Okay, like I said, the overreaction. I believe that they fell under social media pressure. It's like the overreaction of them being upset. Like somebody had to take the L, and of course the player's not gonna take the L, so they got rid of the coach. And we know he's gonna bounce back. We know he's gonna be one of them hot pocket coaches. You know, they may swap. He may become the coach in Toronto, and Nick Nurse may become the coach in Milwaukee. We may never know, but I don't agree with the move of him getting fired. That's just me. Like it's a classic overreaction. It doesn't really make it better. But I mean, he's gone now, so there's nothing I can do for him to save him. I wish we could have touched on the rumor first aspect of it before him actually being fired. But like to say the job is done, but he'll land on his feet. He won't be unemployed long.
And for this right here, what Ross said, he said, y'all seen Dame tweet about the Bucks. Pretty much I won't even say pretty much. I'll quote Dame's tweet where he said, pretty much, folks out here firing championship coaches as soon as they don't win a chip. And I agree with Dame, but I think it's a little bit, it's not just folks out here firing coaches, as soon as they don't win a chip. Yes, we believe that. But in their eyes, it's not that we just didn't win the chip. It's a failure because we were the number 1 seed and we didn't advance past the first round. And so that's all I'm saying, where I think there's a little bit difference between just not winning a chip versus, completely overachieving. And say what you want. I understand that the Heat weren't your normal A seed, but
you still even beat them.
That's my point.
I said it was a failure. Don't get me wrong.
But So to me, when it's just like, hey, we are the number 1 seed and we're playing a team from the play-in, even if the Heat aren't your normal 8th seed, we still should have won this. And when it comes to stuff like that, I think some people feel like, hey, somebody got to be held accountable. And I'm not saying that it's fair or it should have happened, but we've seen it happen to other coaches. So
you know what you do? You publicly blast them in the media. Like, hey, look, somebody got to take this L. Somebody got to be held accountable. You publicly make him aware that this is unacceptable. And then next year, the pressure's on him. Then you get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't just go out there and just fire that man, like you say, off that rip. Like, I don't agree with it. Like you say.
Yeah, I get it.
Well, before we move on, do you blame the coach or turn the spotlight to the players?
You absolutely could not turn it on Giannis.
Because he played well.
But even if Giannis didn't play well, Giannis is more important than Coach Bud.
Yeah, but when we talk about accountability or blame, if he played bad, we definitely can hold your feet to the fire. I know we're not getting rid of you, but you can get this criticism.
So here's my thing.
Criticism.
Like as the front office, you have to mince your words a little bit more with your star player than what you do your coach. Because that's the type of place that we in. Like Giannis means more to this franchise than Bud does. Like if we got Giannis, we still in contention. If we piss off Giannis and sour this relationship and he gone and we still got Bud, we not a championship contender no more. Giannis is the valuable commodity here. And say what you want, like the whole thing, people always talk about Belichick. He treats his players, fair, star player versus man 53. And basketball, they did it a little bit different. Player number one, we get a little bit more better treatment than player 12 or the head coach. And it happens all the time. And so, yeah, I believe, yes, let the media talk about Giannis and hold Giannis accountability, hold accountable. But we're not going to do it here. Hey, Giannis, we love you. You brought us a championship. We stand behind you. We want to see better, but we know that the caliber of player you are, you're gonna hold us down. They could even have done that with Bud, but also in situations like this, and they feel like we got to hold somebody accountable. Hey, Bud,
don't get it twisted at the fact that he definitely made some coaching errors, some coaching mishaps in that series. He got out coached by Eric Spoelstra, and I get it happens. But like I said, why not regroup and give it another season? Like it's just that simple. I mean, at this point now, I'm starting to repeat my stuff and say the same exact thing, but I just don't agree with it. But we'll see who they rehire or see who they hire, because I'm ready for Sam Cassell to get a job. That's just me. Yeah. I'm ready for Sam Cassell to get a job somewhere. And hey, he played for the Bucks before, so
I know. I was hoping.
You see what I did? See what I did on the fly?
I was low key hoping the Bucks didn't fire Bud because Coach Ham down at Florida State gonna be moving on soon. I was like, "Hey Sam, come on down,
come on home, right?
Come on home." But nah, Sam deserves a shot.
Ain't no chill. I know you're on your assistant, your assistant staff. He's very important on your assistant staff, but it's time for him to be a head coach.
Yeah, he's more than proved
deserving.
Proved his worth and did his groundwork.
All right, let's talk about the Eastern Conference first. Both series are tied up. They're not playing tonight, so we good. Let's start off with the Heat and the Knicks. You know what was funny? The Knicks, like I said, the Knicks handled business when it came to the Cavs, and you seen the excitement from the Knicks fan. But I think what pissed me off about what their excitement was, I understand why they were excited. I get it. And they have every right to be excited. It was the fact that they just immediately said, oh, they can go to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm like, okay, I know y'all not playing the Bucks. I get it. The Bucks would probably been a tougher team because they're the number one seed. Did y'all just not see what Jimmy Butler did to the Bucks? Exactly. And then on top of that, why they said, I'm like, okay. And
it's the media hype because it's New York.
That's New York hype. These are fans.
I know, but fans are saying
this way.
But people are seeing it like, oh, the Bucks are out the way, and that was our hindrance, because what they're seeing is like, oh, once again, they're the 8th seed. Tyler Hero hurt, and this and that, whatever the case may be, and so they think like, oh, the Bucks not there. All we got to do is get rid of the Heat. Like, oh, we could do that. But it's just like you are overlooking a very, very strong opponent. And the Cavaliers are a really good young team. But like the old saying goes in boxing, styles make fights. And the Knicks were a really good matchup for the Cavs because of how they play basketball. Playoff Donovan Mitchell didn't show up. That defensive team that we thought the Cavaliers were from the regular season
did not show up.
It did not show up. They got pushed around. Those big men got pushed around. But when you come up against the Heat, you can't push Bam Adebayo around like you was pushing around them Cavaliers big man. You can't do that. Jimmy Butler,
Showed
he
you in game one.
showed you in game one, regardless of his health. Like, hey, I will strap this team on my back and get us across the finish line. So this is gonna be a dogfight. And say what you want, Tom Thibodeau got his hands cut out coaching against Eric Spoelstra.
And in game two, they went down to the wire.
Yeah.
Like so I look, the Knicks can win this series.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not. But
let me just make that.
What I was saying is don't listen to the media hype that they told y'all in the first round where they get past the Cavs. This is a conference championship contender because the Bucks are out the way. No, it ain't the Bucks out the way. It's just now you got to deal with the Heat.
Yeah, and like I said, the Heat is no slouch. But like I said, this is one of those. This series, it definitely gave you that old school feel of that '90s rivalry that we was accustomed to seeing. Now they may not fight
Ewing Morning,
they may not fight like we seen, but it definitely gave you that feel. I remember when Melo and Bron when they played, it didn't give me that feel. I didn't feel that
they're friends.
Yeah, but I just didn't feel that the Knicks could just play with the Heat at that time. So it didn't give me that feel like this is a rivalry. It gave me that old school feeling. This does give me that old school feeling right here. And I think I'm excited to see how this series plays out. Let's move on. Shouts out to the MVP, Joel Embiid.
MVP. Oh yeah, I want to just
Yeah, man.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Well overdue.
Congratulations, Ross. Finally, you can shut the hell up.
Y'all did a lot of work. I'm Sixers fans did a lot of work this year. Get him that MVP title, and like I said, it's well deserved. Jokic definitely made it hard for him. Let's say that. Like you said, he was a formidable opponent. Giannis was a formidable opponent. Like I said, this was a close MVP race, but they just, they made the right decision. I believe so. Game one, we got Vintage Harden. He showed up, put the team on his back. Game two, he was back in Vegas.
Yeah.
It was a weird game one. The game one, it was a back and forth. It just seemed like they were just throwing punches. It was like a Mexican fight. They were standing in the middle of the ring and they were just throwing punches. Game two, it wasn't no Mexican fight. It was more so a little slobber knocker. And they evened the series up. I mean, you can just put water under the bridge at this point. I believe this series was always going 7. I just believe it was always going 7. I guess it is a rivalry. It's a hard fought team. These teams match up with each other well. Even though they don't have anybody that can handle Joel, it's just the simple fact that the Sixers don't have anybody that can handle Tatum and Jaylen Brown as well. So it's like the matchups it's weird.
Yeah.
It's tit for tat. It's going to be an entertaining series, hopefully. Hopefully we get more games like game one. Let's go down to the wire and we can see what's up, because game 2 was definitely atrocious. But I always believe that the series was going 7. And that you believe. But I do believe hold on before we get back. Who we got winning the Knicks in Heat series?
I'm going to go with the Heat just because I think that series. No, I don't hate everything New York, but
you do hate everything New York.
I just believe when it comes down to a series that we believe is going to be close, you got to go with the best player. And I think Jimmy's the best player in that series.
Yeah.
So I can't pick against Jimmy when it's just like, am I gonna pick Jimmy Butler or Jalen Brunson. Not to say Jalen Brunson has not been being a dog this year,
Because
but
playoff Jalen Brunson is a thing.
if he was still in Dallas, they'd be in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the reason why they in the conference semifinals is because of Jalen Brunson as well.
100%.
Playoff Jalen Brunson is a thing, and
But
he can
my
put
thing
that.
is, playoff Jalen Brunson is a thing. But I believe, once again, like I said, Jimmy Butler is the best player. And if it comes down to it, you could put Jimmy Butler on Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, you can't
And,
put
and,
Jalen Brunson.
and you can and you can't put Jalen Brunson on Jimmy.
Yeah.
And I just think that having like if it comes down to it, Jimmy Butler can neutralize Jalen Brunson a little bit, and Jimmy Butler is a part of that. If I need to go get mine, I'm gonna do it, and you've seen me do it.
And that goes back to I definitely got the heat too. Everybody know I ride with Jimmy till I can't ride with Jimmy no more. But it goes to the Sixers and the Celtics. My X factor is Joel Embiid. Like I said, he played game 2, get the rest off of him. Cool. You are the MVP for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have anybody that can hang with you. Like I said, Jason Tatum was started off this season like he was ready to take that MVP leap. And then he just came back to, I'm cool. I'm Jason Tatum. I'm good. I'm great. But I ain't MVP level yet.
This team, they make so many like confusing moves in the midst of a game. You would think that this team is a young team, but they're not.
But they're not. They've been battle tested. Like they should not be
Over
making
and
that mistake
over and over. And it's just like, honestly, if this team doesn't make it past the Sixers in this round, people are going to start being like, has this team reached this pinnacle? Do we need to try and do something else? And I'm not going to say it, but I think it's going to start happening where it's just like, do we need to figure out a way that we can get over this hump somehow?
Well, I believe that Jaylen Brown is a free agent this year anyway.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't get past this round, I don't know if people are going to be like, oh, should we bring back Jaylen Brown? I think people might start looking like, should we use that roster spot to try and find someone that was like maybe pair a little bit better with Tatum? You know what I mean?
But that's the thing. Without Jaylen Brown as the asset, you're not going to get anybody of quality to pair with Jason Tatum to take them over the hump. I know. That's the problem. That's the dilemma. But
let's see go ahead, because I just want to see what NBA free agents are available. Go ahead.
I say who I had though. I had the Sixers. You got winning?
Yeah. So I hate that we agree again, but I got to go with the Sixers on this because I just think that when it comes down to it, I don't trust the Celtics in the crunch time moments. And like I said, that would be something I would say about a young team. But this this is not a young team. And it just is so confusing. This is supposed to be one of those teams where it's like, hey, yeah, y'all changed coaches, but bro, y'all not young, like y'all not a second, third year team. I believe this is like what their 6th, 7th year being together, and they've been to conference finals. Bro, y'all should have this shit together.
Bro, I don't care if they had Popovich or Phil Jackson, Larry Brown. This is not a coaching issue.
This is shit on the court.
Yeah, this is a player issue.
But that's what I'm saying. Like y'all not a young team. Like y'all should be able to be like, you know what? Let's like, hey, we got to drop our nuts and close this game out. They don't do that, and it's so confusing.
And you would think that we was thinking of initially at the beginning of the season that a Malcolm Brogdon would settle them down and solve some of these issues.
I thought that was going to be a great move to be like, oh, like y'all just picked up a hell of a piece, but it's business as usual.
But he falling right in place, and he fitting right in, instead of taking over in certain instances. Cinco de Mayo tomorrow, so expect another Mexican fight. Oh man, but yeah, we both got the Sixers. Ooh. Who Batman? Who Robin over in Boston? I mean, Batman is
Tatum.
It's Tatum.
But is it really Batman and Robin? Is it or is it Green Hornet and All right, you know what I mean? Like, is it truly one of the elite tandems? And I'm not saying Jason Tatum is not a great player, and I'm not saying Jaylen Brown is not a great player, but sometimes the fit don't work. And who knows? I think they might need to try and figure something out.
Let's get to the Western Conference, and we can go ahead and start off with your team.
Nah, why we can't start off with the Lakers? Y'all got your own show. Like, nah, please, let's go ahead and start with the Suns. Let's get the shit over with.
We can start. My team play tonight, so we can talk about my team.
We can do that last since they play tonight.
All right.
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns. My biggest fear: we have no depth, and without depth, it wasn't like this is why I was conflicted about the trade. You got an opportunity to get Kevin Durant, and you see your window, and it's just like, okay, this team as it's currently constructed didn't get us over the hump. We flamed out last year, and we underperformed. Gives you an opportunity to get KD, sure, and you still say what you want. KD's under contract for I think 2-3 more years. Cool. It puts you in a championship or bust window, but this year we ain't winning no championship. I don't care if we come back down 2-0. We still not winning the championship. Next year we got to retool. One of the reasons why I say, hey, when we made that trade, I didn't like the trade because I'm like, hey, bro, we gave up too much. We got aging stars plus Devin Booker. So, yeah. That's why I wanted to trade DA for Miles Turner, but they said they didn't want him. I'm not gonna get into my DeAndre Ayton spiel because I've already gotten into that.
Okay, he's the last of your worries. That's I'm gonna let you go first. My fault.
But once again, like I said, like the last of my worries. I won't say the last, but I will say first. We need depth. We need depth, and once again, the same thing that I said last year coming into this offseason, I said. We need a consistent backup point guard, and we need 3-point shooting.
Mm-hmm.
We traded away our 3-point shooting, and we did not get a consistent point guard. I would have liked, like we both talked about, Dennis Schroeder. I would have loved to have Dennis Schroeder on this team, but we didn't do it. We didn't make that move, and he kind of didn't really want to come here anyway. So yeah, like we got some work to do, but in this offseason, like I said, we'll figure it out.
I know you said the depth issue is an issue. It's been an issue. I get that. Aging stars, I get that. On one part, I disagree with you. If y'all come back from this 2-0 deficit and beat the Nuggets, this Nuggets team the way they've been playing, because they've been playing amazing. Y'all come back and beat them, then y'all definitely back in the contender situation.
So here's my thing.
Go ahead.
We will not beat this Nuggets team
no.
without something drastic happening. So even still, I don't believe we would be a championship contender. That's my point. If we come back and we win this series, it's not because we just got hot and we won this series.
I think the issue is Monty Williams. Like everybody, like you say, the lovable Monty Williams. We love Monty Williams. The story is great. And since we love him so much, we don't want to criticize him. We don't want to give him some criticism. But we at 3-man weed, baby. You got to stand there, put that feet in the fire.
Oh, of course.
My criticism to him because, okay, I get it. You have a lack of depth. But I'm looking at the bench, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bench. Wainwright. Torrey Craig, Biyombo, Landale, who? Campaign just came back. Damian Lee, Basley, who? He don't play. Cool.
Traded him from. We got.
But you got T.J. Warren, you got Landry Shamet, you got Terrence Ross, right? These people they just had DNPs. These are veterans that you specifically brought in for this moment. Now, okay, I get it. I'm not saying that those players that I just named are the end-all, be-all. Are they going to help? But what they are going to do is spell minutes. What you can't be doing is playing Chris Paul as much minutes that you had. And obviously, you see what happened with him. He was an injury away. You know,
Excuse me.
you know, it's like death in Texas. Hey, we always talk about everybody always want to talk about AD and Kawhi. Hey, death taxes and Chris Paul getting hurt in the playoffs. It's just that simple. And the uptick in minutes that he was playing, I get it. You didn't have campaign to spell him at backup point guard minutes. Yeah, I get that. So I'm not being overly criticism on that. But Terrence Ross can't give Devin Booker a break right quick.
So
TJ Warren can't give Kevin Durant a break right quick. Landry Shamet can't give that. They can't stagger these minutes so they can be fresh and keep giving you the offensive uptick, offensive input that you need.
So let me kind of rebuttal this.
Please do
a little bit. So I understand what you're saying, you know, about Landry Shamet, TJ Warren, and Terrence Ross. But the frustrating thing is, game one, Landry Shamet, he didn't get a DNP. Landry Shamet played 14 minutes. And when Landry Shamet was in that game, every single time, Jamal Murray searched him out in a pick and roll, got on him one-on-one, and it was a bucket, like literally every single time.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the most frustrating, to me, Terrence Ross.
Yeah, we did, bro.
What'd you say?
Nah, I was answering the comment. Continue.
So to me, Terrence Ross, yes, I would like to see him get more minutes, but the frustrating thing is when Terrence Ross gets in the game, he don't do nothing. He goes over literally every time, and then he's a defensive he's a defensive liability. So it's just like then you gotta go with a Kogi. Because okay, at least a Kogi would give us something defensively, and anything that we get offensively is a plus. It's like, okay, cool. My only frustrating thing is literally just TJ Warren at this point, where it's just like, at least see if TJ Warren can give you some sort of scoring. Tell TJ Warren to imagine nobody's in the crowd and it's 2020 and see if he can get some points.
Tell him put his headphones on like hardball.
Bro, do something, because it's just hey, what is going on? And I understand, and the frustrating point is KD and Book especially are playing so many minutes, because when they do go to the bench, even just one of them,
mm-hmm.
we go down immediately.
Absolutely.
Immediately. And it's just it's the playoffs. So now it's the playoffs where it's just rest or try and stay in this game and give us a shot.
But when we gonna get one of them vintage KD performances?
So to me, I believe we'll get one of those either in these next two games, because I believe that's going to be the only game that we win in this series.
Okay.
Because Chris Paul is going to be gone,
mm-hmm.
and there's all right, we got to do what we got to do. And it's so frustrating because we're the mid-range killers, but these motherfuckers will shoot some fucking threes on our ass, and we just out here exchanging, twos for threes. KD, hey bro, you gotta start trusting it. I understand, when things are working and you have a team around you, you can do all that mid-range and you can take those those mid-range shots. But at this point, hey, we need points in the paint. All right, take a couple steps back and try and make some threes.
Because I'm sitting here looking at it like Devin Booker is showing up. Devin Booker is cooking, and I get it. That he's became probably the secondary option because all the focus is on KD. But I get
that. He's still the number one option.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I'm just giving it. I'm just giving him some credibility at some point. It's just the fact that he's showing up. It's just the fact that KD, what are you doing? Because last game was horrendous. Game was horrendous. Like I said, we looking at everybody else, and like you said, you supposed to be Kevin Durant. We know who you are, Kevin Durant, right? Like I said, when are we gonna get one of those performances? Because Jokic over there, Jokic got busy last game. But he didn't get busy the first game. He was chilling, cool. But last game, Jokic was like, hey, look, you know who I am. I'm Jokic. I'm a two-time MVP, and I'm gonna show you what's up. And he was cooking. Made Aiden not even want to get in the paint and get no rebound. Made Aiden look like a little boy. I get it. I know you want to be mad at Aiden. It's easier for you to be mad at Aiden. It's easier for you to get frustrated and be mad at Aiden. But your ass need to be talking to money, and your ass need to be getting on KD. Like I said, I get it. Aiden is Ayton is a punching bag. Ayton is a punching bag. Ayton need to play better. He need to grab his nuts as well. I get it. I'm not minimizing that from Ayton. But like I say, I know it's easy for you to say that, and I know it's easy for you to punch on him because you always like to punch on him. But like I said, some of this criticism need to be coming to Mr. Kevin Durant. You need to show up.
I 100% get that. And once again, I'm not. All I'm saying honestly is when you have solely Book and KD, and that's it, that's not going to be enough. When you're going against a team that literally is running out there with Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Jokic. That's not enough scoring. We don't have enough scoring to compete with them at all. I don't care if KD goes for 50. That's still not enough.
What
we need an alternate scoring option between Book and KD. And if they're the only two that can get shots, we stand no chance against this team. And that's my point. Like
what Smokey Mama say to what Smokey Mama say to him?
Make it enough.
Make it enough.
But that's my thing. Hey, you might be able to buy one pack of cigarettes, and that's what we gonna do. We gonna buy one pack of cigarettes. We gonna get one game. But this ain't enough cigarettes to last you the whole week.
Because as we transition to the Lakers and the Warriors, right? We seen them just shoot the lights out. We seen them shoot like they was the Warriors, like you say.
Absolutely.
And it started off ugly. He was like, man, if they shooting like this, what is the Lakers going to do? What did the Lakers do? Lakers started playing Lakers basketball. They went, AD had an amazing game. We started playing Laker basketball. We just tried to match them with 3 for 3. We slowed the game, but we bullied the game, but we went to the free throw line. We did other things. You know what I'm saying? We did other things. We played Laker basketball. You know what I'm saying? We had Vanderbilt, trying to slow down Steph. We had other things. We had people playing. We played our game. We played tit for tat. It was a tale of two halves. Or not two halves, it was a tale of two game plans. Two amazing game plans at that. They took Steph off the ball at one point. I mean, he was going through so many screens, getting open. Boom. Then he had him on the ball. Then what we had to do, we had to adjust. We had to play offensive defense. We had to get D'Lo out of there. We had to put Vanderbilt out there. We had to do things, and they were still shooting. Like Jordan Poole showed up before that last shot. They were shooting the ball lights out. And what did we do? We made it a game. We had a double-digit lead before they went on a Warriors-like run at the end to make it close. And what I'm saying that to you is, y'all got to figure out something. You know what I'm saying?
But here's my thing, though. Yes,
because we ain't got but so many. Like I say, how many people we got scoring?
But my thing is, how many people y'all got scoring? But y'all still have 5 people in double digits with the 30-point performance from AD. Y'all got 19 from Dennis Schroeder. We literally had 3 people in double digits, and it's the people that you expect. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and DeAndre Ayton. And DeAndre, and you know what I'm saying? So we don't have, like I said, we don't have enough scoring to compete. We are done. That's why I said, that's what I said about TJ Warren. Just like, hey, bro, at least try. Let him see if he can hit an open 3 or something, bro. When all you can count on are 3 players, you're not about to beat a team with 4 dudes alone in the starting lineup who can give you double digits. That ain't gonna happen.
So I got a question. Do y'all got enough defense to compete?
No.
That's okay then. Give me something.
But my thing is,
it's effort at this point. At this point, sometimes it ain't just X's and O's, bro. Sometimes it ain't just that. Sometimes it ain't just, they better than they got all this, they got all that. Sometimes you got to grab your nuts, bro, and look, y'all not beating us this game,
bro. But that's what I said. Hey, we will get a game, but that's it. That ain't getting us no more.
No. I'm not letting Kevin Durant off the hook like that. Feel what I'm saying?
I'm not letting nobody off the hook. I'm telling you what's gonna happen.
No, I'm just saying. I just got to get this off. I'm saying. I know you're not disagreeing with what I'm saying, but that don't mean I can't say what I got to say.
Bro,
You know what I'm saying?
but what I'm saying is it's factual. Like I'm not saying, oh, what because because you this person and this person you supposed no, bro. You like you gonna get one game and that's it. They going home.
I'm not even going to minimize. I'm not minimizing nothing that you said because, like you said, once again, it's your team and it's an accurate assessment. But at some point, y'all got to figure. That's why I came at Monty. You got to figure out something.
Yeah,
you got to figure out something.
But here's my thing. Hey, you want a vintage KD game? Guess what?
Yep.
You gonna get a vintage KD game, and no one's ever gonna remember it in his career because we gonna lose the next couple games, and that's it. So it's gonna be like, and it's also similar to Bron, where it's like Bron in year 20, he's like, hey, bro, when we gonna get a vintage Bron game? Bron could give it to you in spurts and this and that. Yeah, but
I'm glad you said that.
But that's another reason. Like it's like, okay, we gonna get a vintage KD game, but this KD is not affecting the game like he would in his prime. He's not there, and so yeah, like you go get that, and then like I said, when you don't have defense, and then you only have
Somebody play some defense.
Who?
Grab your nuts, play some defense, bro. It's the playoffs.
Okay,
play some defense,
bro, and you'll get it. One game. That's it.
And sometimes it's all it takes. Good think about it. Back to when we played Memphis, when we got that Rui game, when Rui went off, and everybody was like, bro, Rui not about to do that all series. And I told people, I'm like, we don't need him to do that all series. We got that one game out of him, and we get and boom, we got it. Boom, we kept going. I'm like, okay, boom, we kept winning. And AD wasn't having a good offensive series at that point. I'm like, wait till AD has a game. Okay, Bron was having an okay series and we were winning. And then wait till when Bron had that 2020 game and we end up winning. So you have to find something. Like these ain't X's and O's at a certain point is what I'm saying. Like when it comes to when it comes back to the Warriors in the Lakers series, I'm like, yo, they just shot so amazing game one. It gave me the confidence in my team. Call me a Laker homer all you want. It gave me the confidence in the Lakers that we can win this series. I'm like, bro, yes, they the Warriors, but the way they shot game one, how often are they going to shoot like this again?
I 100% get that.
And that's off of AD performance. To think about, that's off of amazing AD performance. What if we get a D-Lo performance after that, right? What if we get a vintage Bron performance? Like we just get one a series. We get a win. Okay, you give me a KD performance with what Booker is doing. Maybe Torrey Craig get your ass something. Maybe DeAndre Ayton drink a Red Bull and get some wings. Maybe they do something. Maybe you can get some. Maybe you play some damn defense. Maybe you can do something. Maybe you can take their heart away. Maybe they don't feel the same confidence as the Nuggets is doing. Is what I'm saying. I ain't talking X's and O's right now. I'm talking pride, bro. You know what I'm saying? It can happen.
And pride is going to get you one fucking game, and then reality gonna set back in.
It could propel you, bro. It could propel you, and it could propel you. Hold on, let me see some of these comments before we go, because we still gotta do 4 minutes with the 4. We already over time, but ain't nobody editing this. I don't know.
Yeah, my leg fell asleep.
Damn, gotta get out. Roy can play well as a book. That was the end of the game, though. Hill fresh off of game 7. Warriors are. I mean, hey, fresh off of game 7. They ain't had to travel far. We still in California. Playing every other day. I mean, they still shot amazing. The whole team shot amazing. Like, that performance that the Warriors gave game 1 was supposed to win a game. Let's see if they can continue to duplicate that. The game about to start, so we'll see. Y'all trying to find the silver lining in anything, but fucking stand up for your team because I ain't got one. That's your fault. I told you what team to join. You ain't want to join.
And who trying to find a silver lining?
I think she was talking to me for y'all.
Right, because
you ain't got no hope.
Over.
You ain't got no hope. I still got LA edging it, but Golden State literally just played a game 7. Hey, that's their fault.
So what? Should have closed it out.
Nah, leave the
comment. Play the game.
Buck lost, so I ain't got no. Yep, she was riding with the Bucks. You was over there with Budenhauser. Let me go find this.
I ain't gonna lie, Rakia. You got bad luck, boy.
Absolutely. You the problem.
You the dog, mother.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up with this one. It'll be long. I got Jarvis, 4 minutes with the fours. I got Jarvis send us this. Y'all can definitely email us, DM us if y'all want us to specifically talk about a topic. I'm reading it. Dolphins defensive coordinator Vic Fangio likely would have stayed with the Eagles permanently had it not been for the tampering incident with the Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon. It impacted a lot of people's lives. If y'all not familiar with what's going on, they say it was a tampering issue with the Cardinals and Jonathan Gannon when it came to their head coaching search. The allegations when it comes to Jonathan Gannon was he wasn't actually prepared when it came to the Super Bowl. He was more so focused on the actual job search. And like I said, it impacted a lot of people's lives. This is my thing when it came to Vic Fangio. He wasn't watching. He wasn't paying attention to what was going on. Like, it was clearly that Jonathan Gannon was a hot candidate when it came to head coaching. He was a head coaching candidate last year, I think, for the Texans. I think for the Texans at least, but he was a head coaching candidate. So how did this impact your life? I'm confused. Like,
my whole thing with Fangio was like, they brought you on like right before anyway. And we've seen coaches who are hot candidates. You're not supposed to speak to other teams and stuff like that prior to the Super Bowl. But plenty of times we've seen coaches who are hot candidates come into the Super Bowl and lose because people say, was he in there? Was he prepared? Was he focused on his job? Was he doing this, and that? And to me, my thing is, to me, this is a little bit different because I always think like in college, I'd be like, hey, coaches need to stop accepting jobs before, the championship game, and then they leave because a lot of times, guess what? They already start recruiting and all of this other stuff. In the NFL, what was Jonathan Gannon really focused on? Like, your game plan is your game plan. You probably already like you're going to the Cardinals, dog. Like, what more are you really trying to do? It ain't like the Cardinals are still in the playoffs and you trying to do stuff with them. Like, the league year ain't even over yet. If Jonathan Gannon wasn't prepared for the Super Bowl, that should only just hurt him. Like, because what was he really distracted by? I mean, I know for me, when I got if I'm at a job and I already put my 2 weeks in, I might be like, fuck this job. But this a little bit different to me because it's like, at those jobs, I don't have the chance to still get promoted to CEO before I leave. Like, you still got a chance to win a Super Bowl before you leave.
Yeah.
And things will look a lot different on your resume if you go to the Cardinals as a Super Bowl champion and things flame out, and then you looking for another job versus you get beat in the Super Bowl and then you look super terrible as the Cardinals head coach. People look at you different because now you can't go into it. Like, people not looking at you like he was the defense for the Super Bowl champions that beat the Chiefs. That's probably gonna ring a little bit different.
I just don't. I think the thing, but this is my thing though. What was they tampering? Like, he wasn't the top candidate. Like, Dan Quinn turned his job down. Sean Payton turned his job down. D'Amico Ryans turned his job down. A lot
Lou
of these
Anarumo was in this conversation.
Did he turn it down, or he just didn't get the job?
It didn't work. He didn't get the job, but he was in it before Jonathan Gannon because we was out the playoffs.
Yeah. So it was a lot of people that when it in regards to this job,
people didn't like this job.
Yeah, it definitely was a nasty job, and we seen why until they got all that draft capital. But I'm just confused on what was they actually tampering, because it's like, what was going on? Was it worth it?
And hold on. What does Fangio mean if he would have still been with the Eagles permanently?
He was on as a consultant.
Right. But my thing is the defensive coordinator position opened up. Like you would have been a permanent consultant? I'm confused at what he's trying to get. I'm confused at what he's trying to get at here.
I'm confused at what he's trying to, because I believe that he took the job. I think he took the job before he had the opportunity to get the Eagles defensive coordinator job if he wanted it.
Because my thing is, if you know Jonathan Gannon is a candidate and you on as a consultant and you want the Eagles job, then I think that you being in the building puts you in a very good place to stay with the Eagles when people know that this motherfucker leaving.
Yeah, so I'm not understanding what he mean by that.
And my whole thing is Fangio act like he wasn't a candidate for the Broncos the whole time because people knew that they were trying to go after Sean Payton.
But I'm like, yeah, I don't think he was going back to that one.
Right? No, I knew he wasn't going. But my whole thing is, you had options as well. But if you wanted to be there so bad, why did you you wanted Jonathan Gannon to leave?
I'm about to say that was the actual reason why the Denver job wasn't your job. Like that's why you became a hot candidate, because we believed that you wasn't going to Denver. So yeah. I'm just confused on what he means by
it doesn't make sense. And yeah, and I guess the Cardinals, they did what they got to do. They tampered, lose draft capital, but they gained some more draft capital. So that shit ain't even gonna really fuck with them for real anyway. And yeah, Fangio, hey bro, you got a job. How about you get prepared for your job and stop worrying about the Eagles? You in the AFC now, dog.
Yeah. Which episode was this?
196 after 2 hours.
Oh man. Y'all know y'all can catch us on all major podcast platforms, 3Man Weave, Instagram, Twitter, 3Man Weave _ You can email us at podcast.3.man.weave@gmail.com. I'm Hill. That's AJ. Cannon be here next week. Hey, if you're a Cowboy fan, we definitely about to recap the draft coming up right after this. Lakers about to get another win tonight. And we out.
And we're going home, guys.